Hi, today is the 26th of December, 2021. So, I had gone to the Excalibur Fair back in the year of 2005. And I had gone to the Excalibur Fair, which is now the Sherwood Forest Fair, and it's out in Bastrop County, Smithville, Texas area. Again, this is back in 2005. So I've written about this. I've also discussed this, and people that I had discussed this with way back when, from 2005, 2006 through essentially 2012, before writing about it in 2013, 2014 for my first book, as well as my second book, Finding a Silver Lining and Finding the Silver Lining. Go to my website, www.susanmeeling.com, and you'll be able to find that information as well as my books. Also, the same website is www.ladydoribelle.com. That's a Dori with an I, as in seeing. Because, I took Greco-Roman Latin, and I'm a dork. and I can only draw eyes. That's it. Ever since I was a child, I could draw eyes in great detail. There are reasons why I could draw different eyes in massive amounts of detail, and each one, yes. Okay, so for those who can understand and comprehend that, yes, there are those reasons why I could, so there are those people who can do, which I'm quite, not in a negative way, in a very positive way, of envious of, like I wish I could, who could do a whole face and do that whole detail work and stuff like that. Yeah, I got really good at drawing eyes. So, when you have that, like, right in your face, and they're so big that all you can pay attention to is the eye, that you get really good at drawing those eyes. I'm going to draw and make sure that I get every detail, because, anyway, it is what it is. So, I met this female named Dawn, which I don't know what her legal last name is, but what I do remember is I met her in 2005, which was after the Jade Wolf Coven situation. And she said she had been in the Navy. She was friends at that time with a female named Christy, who had a brother named John. And they worked, meaning Christy and Dawn worked at Chase Bank off of I-90 near 410 in San Antonio, Texas. Now, in the San Antonio pagan community is where I met them, and it was at Sam's Burger Joint before San Antonio. It was before being, so it initially started out at Candlelight Coffee House, then it went to Sam's Burger Joint, then it went back to Candlelight Coffee House, then it went to someplace out of the quarry, and more recently in the year of 2020, it was back at Candlelight Coffee House. So I have a quick little rendition of that Candlelight Coffee House because I have enjoyed it. So when I was pregnant with my son, in the year of 2001, it was not even a full year since I had woken up from my coma after my head injury in Palm Sunday, 2000 basic training stuff. And so my ex-sister-in-law now, Mary Evangelina Nichols is her maiden last name, Osteen, married last name, and her two daughters, Sandra Marie Osteen and Ariel Marie Osteen, again, this is back in 2001, were visiting San Antonio because David Osteen was in basic training at Lackland Air Force Base, and he was going to be graduating soon. So Mary, my ex-sister-in-law, says she wants coffee, and I was like, oh, well, what type of coffee are you wanting? because as far as I was informed, she only drank sweet tea. Well, apparently the sweet tea that I made was a little too strong. I hadn't ever made sweet tea before. Okay, I woke up in Texas. Apparently, sweet tea is a thing. Fine. If anybody's had my coffee or hot chocolate, depending on when making stuff, or my tea, well, you have an idea how that sweet tea came out. Which it was good to me. I liked it. But I also like things a smidgen strong. It's a little more concentrated, I guess. And so I made this huge thing of sweet tea, and she was like, I have to add water to it. That's so strong. I don't know, Susan. I don't know. This is so strong. Because she was living in Georgia and Macon. I can make a multiple joke at this point. Jeff Dunham, eat your heart out, because that is what it is. So, but I do like Jeff Dunham. Anyway, so Mary's all, Susan, I just really wanted some sweet tea. I didn't know you were going to make that type of sweet tea. That is so sweet. That is the sweetest sweet tea I've ever had. But that tea is so strong. I haven't had such strong tea in my life. Do you want me to make coffee? No, Susan. Which David would, along with her daughters, anyone who knows her, you can let me know if I'm on point with that accent. No, Susan, your coffee must be strong if you're going to make sweet tea that way. I just don't know. No, we must just go to a coffee house. Okay, well, I'll go get the yellow pages, and I got the yellow pages, and I don't mean the website for clarification. Again, this is back in 2001, so you used to still get yellow pages delivered every year, and to your doorstep. So I went and looked up coffee houses, like, oh, Candlelight Coffee House. Oh, this reminds me of the days back with speakeasies. Ooh, we're gonna have to go there. Yes, we are. That's my type. So we get there. Now remember, I was born and raised in New Jersey, okay? And I grew up going to New York City and the 5 boroughs, as well as New York State, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, as far as Pennsylvania, but also Lancaster and other areas around the Pennsylvania state. And so I walk up and I'm hugely pregnant. Like I have made the joke that, I was stacked. I could use my bra area to hold my drink, and I had my belly for my table if I wanted to stand up and watch whatever or talk whatever. Those who have been pregnant, you understand. And so I was huge. I was almost 200 pounds by the time that Mary and Sandra and Ariel showed up. I was huge. And so my ass really was fat. And not in the PHAT, no, it was huge. I had a big old bubble booty. I had a bubble here, and I had 2 bubbles here. I can make fun of myself. But anyway, so, I'm huge. Talk about swelling up like a balloon. Yeah, no. I have worked out a lot to that. So we walk up, and there are these stairs and everything, and I see on the door 21 and older, and it's like, well, this isn't a place I know. Uh-oh. Because I was under the age of 21 myself. And places I had been up, and well, you know, when you know people, you know people. It is what it is. So these three guys walk out, and they are so cute. Oh, they reminded me way back when. Because, you know, I was a whopping 19 or 18 years old. I hadn't even turned 19. I was a whole, you know, not even a full year awake from my coma and from my head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000. These three guys, one of them had a mesh shirt and these leather pants, and I'm like, girl, how you look at what you will. I know, how you do it. And they come outside and they're like, hey, mama. And I'm like, how you doing, boys? And one of the other ones, he has this neon yellow shirt on, and he's like, oh, mama, may I? And it's, yes, it's okay, I'll allow. It's like, you know, just because I'm as big as the Buddha right now. It's cool. My ex-sister-in-law now is, well, I do declare, Susan, do you know who you are allowing to touch your belly? Yup. Yeah, I don't have an allergic reaction. They do have ish allergic reaction, but it's okay. And then the third guy, because all three of them, they're just rubbing my big old pregnant belly. And it's, I don't mind, I am not threatened. You want to know why? Because I don't care about that. They're consenting adults. And so, and don't you look fabulous, by the way? Oh, look at, oh. And so they're all, and I'm just, it's all good. And now, mind you, this is my ex-in-law, so you know how my son and my daughter's biological father was. And it's like, well, over his dead body, I don't care. Because no offense, if my son and or my daughter, you know, 'cause later, whatever they, as long as they're safe, as long as they are honest and true, like, you know, there's different protection. It's not just, that's all I care. You go do your thing. Because I've already been a beard, I don't know how many times by that point, which I can make a joke if my son is either bi or gay or I don't care, you know, just be safe, use protection. Just because you can't get knocked up or knock somebody up, just be careful, that's all. And so the three of them were all, oh, this is gonna be a great night. And I was like, you look fantastic. Shimmy and work it. Well, my ex-sister-in-law at that time, sister-in-law, Susan, how could you? How could I what? How could I what? How could you? Do you know they might be gay? What would give you that hint? What part of their ensemble would give you the slightest inclination that they might be, you know, hi girl, hi. Are you going to tell me in Georgia they don't have any gay guys? I doubt it. Her two daughters are all, mama. And I'm just like, yeah, I have a feeling they might know a gay guy or two. There might be one or two that they each know. It's a possibility. And don't you say that. Don't you take that back. No, I do not. Me and my huge pregnant belly. they're a bunch, I don't care, as long as they're consenting and safe. Guess what? I don't know if you know this. There are bisexual and lesbian females. So, it is what it is. I can't believe that you did that. Did what? If I could have given them a hug, I would have, except my belly is in the way. So I could go like this. That's not really a hug. They would have to curl themselves over my belly, and then they'd be close to my boobies. They're not necessarily into these. Some are, not when they're filled with colostrum. Yeah, but I can aim. What does that mean? I have been practicing because she didn't know. So there was in the bathroom, there's the tiles that have the T. Because I didn't know about certain things being a female, it was one of those, washing myself and then colostrum comes out. For those who don't know, it's one of those. What is that? What is this? What is wrong with me? Why is it? And then I just started. Forget menses issues. No, being pregnant. What is this? But then, because I'm a tomboy, I cannot stand up and pee my name the way I have known guys. My big blood brother is gonna be so proud at any point. And so it was as it was. I got really good too. I did. I'd get it right at that connection point in the T. Either side, it didn't matter. It was one of the, which way you could go. I can make fun of myself, it's fine. And so, anyway, at the Candlelight Coffee House, we left. We went to Jim's restaurant and stuff like that. Irony, irony. My son's name is James Michael. Irony, irony. And so, she complained the whole time. Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was a military highway area near Castle Hills. Irony, irony. Susan, I can't believe you took us to a gay bar. So funny that it's on North St. Mary's. Just gonna leave it at that. So anyway, my ex-sister-in-law, Mary, she's all... Susan, it's my daughters. They just... So you don't think that they could have a possibility of meeting a gay guy at all? And we're in the middle of this. It's like 11 o'clock at night. And her two daughters are like, Mama, it's not there. Bye. Mama. Mama, no. Mama. And I'm just, it's not a problem. Like, seriously, what people enjoy as adults is what they enjoy as long as it's consensual. You're talking to the wrong person as far as being discriminatory against the LGBTQP community. What? What do you mean? You're talking to the wrong person. I've been a beard before. What's a beard? I had friends who couldn't come out of the closet. And so I stood up to their family for them. I stood up to their friends for them. And then literally, as soon as they were capable of accepting who they were, we were still friends, but they were capable to be with who they actually wanted to be with. They were capable to have the relationships that they had dreamed of. And so this is nothing new to me. I've done this for a while. And so that's not a big deal, whatever it is, it is. Oh, Susan, how dare you? Oh, okay. Or not. You really need to get over that. So anyway, fast forward from 2001, which real quick. So at the basic training, graduation at Lackland, there's this MP, and he has this big old fluffy German Shepherd. You know, it's just a MP dog. It's got its, little vest on and stuff like that. And me being myself, who's a little puppy? What you doing? May I pat, by the way, I apologize. May I pat the puppy dog? And the dog was like, oh, let's play. Yes, like that. And the guy's pulling on the leash, and he's like, no, this is a police dog. And I'm like, oh, it's okay, he's so fluffy. Who's a little fluffy puppy dog? And the dog is ready to play. And he's like, stop, sit, heel, stop. And the dog's like, who's your puppy? Apparently they're not supposed to do that. So the guy, he's all, excuse me, ma'am, can you please stop doing that? Oh, this is just a puppy dog. And so the guy's like, sit, heel, whatever. Sit. Poof. Good boy. Dog's tail starts wagging. I apologize, MP. But if he's not supposed to do that, I suggest you get to work and make sure. And the guy was like, yeah, no, we're definitely going to work. And I was like, no, please. And so I explained the after effects of my head injury and stuff like that, and went over it with the MP guy. And he was like, okay. Well, I do apologize. I actually grew up, my biological father, he had trained dogs and stuff like that. I apologize. But if that dog is not supposed to do that, I apologize. But, so I fought to be able to be emancipated to join, and I'm 18, but I had a head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000, which was last year during basic training. I showed him my ID card, or I went to go show him my ID card. I couldn't show it, but explained the whole thing, and he took my information down, so he was capable of going and verifying, obviously. And so, anyway, fast forward to after the graduation, we're in the Bay Area, and in comes the drill instructors, and David is where he's at, and the drill instructor comes up and he's like, hey, yo, Steve, and he looks directly at me after looking at David, and he goes, oh, well, is this your wife? You didn't tell me you guys were pregnant. Take a step to the side. Please tell me you were talking about that one. Ooh. And then, what I do declare, I am Mary Evangelina. She is not David's wife right now. I'm gonna go over here. Me and my big old belly and my big old booty. Because I care about my son. Nope, I'm not dealing with that. Nope, have fun. Damn it, there's a wall right there. Wrong move. Damn it. Well, I technically could climb over the bunk and get out of here. I know I can't low crawl right now. Although I could be like a hockey puck and scoot across, Or for those who remember in the 1990s, that little half ball thing with the little something another that you bounced and balanced on. Technically, but I want to keep my son safe, which is the safest option. I can make fun of this. It's obviously extremely easy for me to do so. Anyway, so back in reference to Candlelight Coffee House, this is where I meet Dawn and Christy and then John, which is funny because he was called Little John. Well, he was like this tall. It's like calling somebody tiny. So they knew about the separation. It was the first separation at the time. And they're like, oh, we're going to go to this thing called Excalibur Fair. Well, what's that? And they're like, well, it's a Renaissance fair. A what? A Renaissance fair. What's a Renaissance fair? And they, along with a bunch of other people in the San Antonio pagan community, were like, oh, you don't know what a Renaissance fair is. No, I don't. Why? You would love it. I don't know about that. I can make a decision for myself. So do you like Victorian clothes or medieval clothes or Renaissance clothes? Yeah. I mean, I like corsets. They're cool. And then like, maybe the poofy skirts. Yeah. And so all I was informed of before going, so for those who know about this, in comparison to me, especially back then. So you mean like all I have to do is just wear the clothes, and then like other people are wearing the clothes, and what happens? Oh, it's like, and they explained it was kind of like a church, but not, because they knew about how religious and stuff. I was like, but it's outside? They're like, yeah, and I'm like, but why? Well, so all you do is just, well, have you ever been to medieval times? No. What is it? And so they're, oh, you haven't ever been? No, I haven't. Why? You must go. You would have so much fun. And they all knew about the after effects from my head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000. Okay, well, I can get an outfit. I can do that. I can. And so then I tell my biological mother, and she's like, oh, I was a part of the TRF. Oh, I was part of the SCA, and oh, you're really gonna do it? Oh, that's great. We have something in common. Or, I have no idea what this is, and I'm asking you what it is. Oh, you will, so you know the colonial reenactment back in New Jersey? Yeah, the historical stuff. Yes, it's everything the same. This coming from the same female who told me that an evangelical church is the same as a Presbyterian church. However, at this point, I was a whole 5 years out of my coma. After my head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000, I kind of forgot about that really big deal. Huge difference between an evangelical church and a Presbyterian church, such as Old Tennant Presbyterian Church, to be specific. Huge difference! Okay. Awesome. Okay, so all I do is, same thing. Just get the clothes that you'd be comfortable with and you'll have a great time. Yeah, so she tells me she's a part of the TRF, had been going to that stuff, part of the SCA. I have no idea. A whole bunch of other letters that I don't know. And she's all, it'll be so much fun for you. You'll have so much fun. It'll be great. You're a tomboy, so you like being outside. So you'll have fun with being outside. Mm-hmm. And then when you're outside doing that, this is what she told me. Yeah, you just get whatever clothes that work for you. And then when you go out there, you just be yourself. Okay, well, that's all I know how to be. And then you'll just have so much fun because, you're a tomboy, so you like being outside. And then, you just had to go and like to go in the army, so, it'll be fine for you because you already went, because those who know. Those who know. Anyway, so I find this outfit, and the irony of color, okay? So it had a high back collar over here, and it had a square cut here, and a V as far as it wasn't a boned corset, but it had the black string with the silver ends, and darker blue panel with the lighter blue panel and all that, and I was excited and stuff like that. Yay! So, that's all I know going in. Dawn and Christy and John are like, this is gonna be great. So then, just before going to this Renaissance fair, I got introduced to this guy named Ayaz. And it was his birthday at the time. There was only one table, and there was only one seat next to him or over where everybody else was. And Dawn was like, oh, just go sit next to him. You can talk with him because, whatever. Okay, sure. It almost seems like he probably knows how this goes because this is whatever. So, hi, what's up? And, we start talking. Now, my hair was not this at that time. My hair was longer to here, and my natural hair color, and I didn't have my tattoos or anything like that. And we're talking and everything, and the belly dancers at Mimi and Dina's, and the belly dancer comes out, and we're all talking, and she looks over and she goes, you're moving with the music. And I was like, oh yeah. And she goes, do you know how to belly dance? And I was like, no, I don't. Surprise. And so she comes over, and everybody else at the table, they're just kind of whatever. And she comes over and she grabs, and I stand up, and I'm like, oh, well, yeah, I could do, whatever. It is what it is. I like to dance. So anyway, go outside. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go outside, have a cigarette after that, whatever. Well, Ayaz comes outside, and he's like, well, so hi, who are you? You don't work at Chase Bank. No, I don't. And so we talked, and because he didn't know that I could read or see, which is an irony, so he goes and tells me about his mom, who's a Hindu Catholic. Oh, okay, go ahead. Continue? Okay, so is this like, so do you know, like, because I could tell, I was like, so my biological mother was a deacon at a Presbyterian church. Her older sister, because those who are into religion, her one older sister, she's a reborn Southern Baptist that converted to Catholicism. And then there's the other sister that she went and she was a Christian, and then she became a pagan heathen. And then there's the other one that's a brother that's kind of non-denominational-y stuff. And then there's the other one that does the pagan warlock something another, but whatever. So, there's that side. Yeah, there's that side. And then my biological father, we were joking around and just having fun. And so my biological father, he's first generation Chinese, and, my bakung and my bapu and stuff like that. And I was raised learning that and stuff like that, and go through the whole thing. And so, and then he goes, yeah, well, oh yeah? Well, now this is not how it actually went, but it was, whatever. And he's like, well, my dad's a Muslim from Dori. Okay, cool. This is 2005. Awesome. So your mom is a what? She's a Hindu Catholic. So are they still together? And he goes, what? And I go, are they still together? And he goes, why would you ask that? I just was wondering. It seems like a valid question. Maybe they can work it out, but yeah, just whatever. And he was like, well, they've kind of had a problem with one another. It's a family situation. It is what it is. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fine. So your mom and dad are at war with one another, and your mom's kind of at war within herself because of this, because she has the torn portions between the Hindu aspects as well as the Catholicism, because the Hindus have the belief of not necessarily multiple deities. They understand that it's from the same, aspect, but like there's the Catholicism that's like, well, no, this is a saint, and this is a saint, and this is a saint. It's not the same, but it's kind of the same thing because it's divinity, but not because we're going to do this, 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 and this. And he looks at me, he's like, yeah, actually, how did you know that? Oh, because I've studied a few things. Again, this is my background. So before the Renaissance Fair and all that, we started dating. We're not any major whatever to what have you, but he was like, hey, do you want to come with me? And I'm like, yeah, no, I have my son and my daughter to take care of. And I'm dealing with this, and I'm dealing with that, and he knew about the separation and all that, and he was like, oh, well, whatever, it's no big deal. So he goes over, and he's like, I want a picture of you, and I'm like, I don't really have one that doesn't have my son and my daughter in it, of me. And so, I'm not really willing to give you a picture of my son and my daughter to take overseas. Yeah, I'm kind of a protective mom that way. So I was like, oh, well, here, I found a picture from like pre-head injury. Does this look kind of like how I look now? And he's like, actually, it looks exactly. And it was when I was 17, so 2000, well, technically 1999 to 2005, apparently I didn't age. And it's like, okay, that's cool. And so, he took that picture over, and I talked with his mom on the phone. She, not really much per se. And so while he was gone is when I go to this Renaissance Fair. And, I get out, and I drive because I had a van. And I didn't know about it. And they're like, oh, we're going to camp out. Oh, okay, well, whatever, camping's cool. I've already done a vision quest and stuff like that, and at that point I had arranged a vision quest in my backyard. Now I had gone to another vision quest at another point in time where I got to do the Native American rocks with the antler horns, and the guy was like, have you been to one of these before? No, why? You just did that perfectly. Oh, well, thank you. And so it was cool. I got to move the coals or the burning rocks and stuff like that. And we sang This Little Light of Mine over and over and over and over and over again. I don't know how many times, but I kept pushing on because I was having a vision. So it was one of those, okay, let me do what I need to as far as my vision. Now I also didn't think about, when it comes to that vision quest out in Bernie area, of Texas, I didn't think about the fact that I had a subarachnoid hemorrhage in the frontal lobe of my brain still. That didn't, come across as anything of importance because nobody told me it was. That's why. Yeah, nobody was like, hey, you should only do this. Nobody did that. No, it was just, well, this is what you're dealing with. Go ahead, have fun, bye. I didn't need to go abroad. I had the United States of America as soon as I woke up from my coma. It's okay. For those who have like the parents and they're like, I'm gonna go do this, and no, I have the United States of America. That's okay. And being in the state of Texas, I don't have to go very far. It's okay because I have the after effects from my head injury. And oh, hey Army, hey Air Force, hi, I'm still here. Hey Navy, hey Marines, hi Coasties, I'm still here. Because it's the hill country. For those who know, it's that because San Antonio's in a flat area, and Bernie's in a hill area. So it's a 2/3 of a pun joke, especially with scuba diving being 2/3 of a pun because it's Texas, and so at the coast. There's the ocean-ish. I mean, it's the Gulf of Mexico. It's technically a part of the ocean, but it's still the Gulf of Mexico. It's technically ocean water, which I had already been out there by that point in time. Not scuba diving, just going and swimming. So it was a real quick sideline on that. In the year of 2003, I think it was, or maybe 2004, I get this, I need to go, come on, let's go, we're gonna go to the water. And I dealt with the conversation to go to the water. Let me clarify that. So we go down, my son and my daughter are running around, and I'm like, yeah. So I take a few pictures, and I'm like, so, okay, James and Lydia, and they're like, yeah, let's have mom and here, give me hugs. Okay, I am gonna go swim in the ocean for a little bit. It's ish. But I just gotta. And they're like, oh, okay, I love you too. Okay, off of me. And I was just out in the water. And it had been a while. I just, some stuff happened since the last time I was in the water. And so it's just, I all of a sudden remember, let me go. And went and clarified some things, whatever here, whatever. Because, the last that they had seen of me in the ocean is 1998. And so, what could be frightening about that for anybody? So it's one of those, I need to get in the water because I gotta do my thing. And, it's a call of the wild, right? Whatever. And so I just went swimming. That's all, technically. And so I just went swimming. And so then a few years later, I got into scuba diving. And by the way, obviously, since I wasn't scuba diving back in that year, nobody asked if I was a scuba dive instructor. Just gonna throw that out there, just be like, swish. And so, it is what it is. I am who I am. So, fast forward to this Renaissance fair. Ayaz is overseas. He's doing whatever as far as meeting his parents. They're trying to arrange a marriage for him. I have no idea about this, by the way. And I'm just do. And so go to this Renaissance fair thing. I get dressed up. I have my, corsety outfit thing with my big old poofy skirt. I got my shoes. And I step outside of the tent, and Dawn and Christy and John are all dressed as pirates. And they all look at me. John is like, whoa, wow. You could be a girl and stuff. Yeah, I'm a female, but yes. And he's like, because every time he had seen me, it was just a pair of jeans and a t-shirt. So it was really no different than my son and my daughter, who had only seen me in jeans and a t-shirt. And so, you're a girl, whatever. I mean, a female. I did give birth to 2 children. That's kind of what gender you kind of have to be. And just saying, naturally. And so, Dawn, who had been in the Navy and all that, and she didn't like the fact that I was not accepting of certain choices she was making. And Christy was, I got along with Christy, but it was one of those, they looked at me, Dawn got mad. Well, in our clan, you can't be a noble. How dare you show up as yourself as we told you to dress up in the clothes that you wanted to? Literally the words. Okay, you're not gonna be allowed to hang out with us, the pirates over here, because they were wenches. And okay. So you just whatever. Why? Because, we'll lose our street cred. There's no streets. This is a Renaissance fair. Whatever, you know what we mean. No, I don't, but okay. Fine. So I was, Lady MeeLing and all that, and went around. By the way, that's my legal middle name. Nobody has the authority to use it for clarification at all. That I don't care. Don't care. I don't care if you're my biological sister. I didn't give you permission to talk about issues. No. Anyway, so I go and do my thing. I don't care who you are. I don't care. It's my middle name legally. Anyway, so I go do my thing, and I've already described it. And so I'm just walking around, and it's not until 2009 or 2010 that I get to see what medieval times are. And it's like, oh, that's so much more regulated in comparison to what I dealt with. Awesome, cool. And so, there's a situation where these guys are in the trees behind the tents and stuff like that. There's the Baird who's doing the not beard, Baird difference. I know there's two vowels in the middle of Baird as well as the word beard. But and then one of the letters is the same, but there's a difference between I and E. So just clarifying. So anyway, this is how much of a dork I am. So there's this Baird, and he's on the stage, and I'm walking, or I guess technically, if I'm going this way, so over where the camera thing. So over here is where the stage is, where this guy is doing the Baird thing, and then each side, kind of like these doors, but tents. And there's one that's selling turkey legs, and the other one's selling meat. And it's, of course, me thinking, well, I bet if I went out here, I wouldn't have gotten that Article 15 from Captain Beer. Not Baird, not Beard, beer. But no, and again, this is in my thoughts, no, that's fine, Captain Beer. It's fine. Whatever. So I walk through the two tents, and then there's the males who jump out of the trees. They're dressed as trolls. They have weapons in their hand. And, I earned second and third place in sparring and form in a Taekwondo competition when I was in 8th grade. So these guys jumped down, and I'm like, and what is this? Now, mind you, I had just gotten a pair of wings. And one of them said something about getting wing sauce. And all I knew is these 5 guys, it didn't matter. It did not matter what does wing sauce have to do with me about to destroy you? What does this mean? And then when I found out it was in reference to the wings I had literally just purchased, oh no, I spent money. First you jump out of the trees, and then I also spent money. You must not enjoy your lives. You must not. No. Born and raised in New Jersey? No. If you cost me money, you cost yourselves time in your clocks. Yeah, that's how that rolls. I will retract all that because I can. You can't get it back once I take it. The only way you can get it back is by making it up to me, and boys, you have... if I spent money. I was born and raised in New Jersey. You owe me money. That's just how that rolls. And so, over time they dropped their weapons at my feet. For some reason, they weren't willing to fight me. I didn't bring up the second and third place in sparring and form. That's fine. And since I was in the state of Texas, I didn't even know about the stand your ground law, so it worked out. But then when I got back to San Antonio, military guys, there are these guys, they jump out of trees and they're all dressed up weird, and no, there's difference between camo. You do camo, they do I don't know what. Hold on, let me pretend to be like a child. Military guys, need you like, a little sister. Military don't care. And it jumps out of the trees and they have weapons in there. Not real ones. I mean, they were knives. But like, I know there's some of you who know what to do with those. They knew better and they dropped them at my feet after a while. They were intelligent that way. All I had to show was these guns. And I was like, why? It's so rare. And I could totally envision my big blood brother being like, partially, excuse me, let me understand this correctly. 5 males jumped out of a tree and surrounded you with weapons, in comparison to telling my biological mother, well, that sounded like fun. No, no. But I could envision my big blood brother being like, so there were 5 males that jumped out of trees with weapons in their hand. They just yeah, and then they each had, they called them swords. They called them that. But my big blood brother and I were born and raised in New Jersey, so knives. Compared to, colonial stuff. And so, they said they were swords. That's what they said. I don't know, but whatever. They were kind of bigger knives. They were like, they were like the stuff that you could get at Kmart. Size-wise. If I were to have told my big blood brother about this. Anyway, so there was a whole bunch of other situations where I had to defend myself the entire time. Well, Dawn was just like, well, what's your problem? You had the nerve to dress up as a noble. First and foremost, you told me to just go and get clothes that would be comfortable to me. Secondly, I haven't even heard of a Renaissance fair before. Another is that you know about the after effects from my head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000. Fourth, I have a subarachnoid hemorrhage in the frontal lobe of my brain. Fifth, I kind of deal with headaches and migraines and memory deficits and cognitive disorders. Sixth, you who invited me out there left me and told me to just go walk around because you were too embarrassed to be seen with me because I'm nobility. Seven, you went and didn't give me any. Then I go down the list. And Dawn was just, well, you shouldn't be such a pain about it. Can't you just, take a joke? No, I don't see how that's a joke, how 5 guys jumped out of trees with weapons in their hands, and this is at the Renaissance Fair, by the way, she started yelling at me because they were going to try to arrest me until, because they apparently have sheriff there. So I'm thinking that they're a real sheriff in comparison to the Renaissance Fair thing. And I'm like, what do you mean? For falsifying being a fairy? Excuse me. I don't think so. And I did not tolerate it. And I defended myself. What are you, a lawyer? I'm telling you, this is not gonna, we go round and round. Dawn is like, oh, I can't believe it. I don't care. I can't believe that you would have the nerve to knowingly tell me the least amount about this stuff, knowing about the after effects from my head injury, being somebody who was in the military. Well, you were in the Army. I was in the Navy. We're going to have a problem. We're going to have a huge problem. And the sheriff pretending guy was like, you can just shut your pie hole. I give you permission to speak, boy. This is between this twat hoe whore, since you're just a dumbass wench, and I. So you have a problem with the fact that I'm nobility. You have the gall to actually act a fool, throwing a temper tantrum. Well, being a wench. Yes, you are. A typical, ignorant, uneducated, arrogant, egotistical, waste of flesh, wench, hoe. Yes, you are. Absolutely. You know what? No wonder you feel so at home being with those types of pirates. In comparison, my mistake for thinking better of you. My mistake for thinking that you could ever possibly be worth anything more than just being a typical pirate wench. I doubt you'll ever amount to much. This right now is probably going to be the highest point of your entire measly existence. So, I suppose enjoy it while you can, because it'll be the last bit of enjoyment that you will ever be allowed. But you have a problem with me being nobility. I was kind. Don't ever push me again, because if you do, you're going to find out how I actually can be. So, bow down, because you know who I am. And so then the sheriff tries to come over and he's like, so I refuse to do so. I will not allow anyone to ever falsely accuse me of anything, because I will prove my innocence every time, and each and every person who has ever or could ever make any false accusation, I will obliterate just the same. So, no, I refuse. And what type of sheriff dresses that way? Oh, well, for the Renaissance Fair, blah, 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 blah. And so it wasn't until after the Renaissance Fair, by the way, it wasn't until several weeks later that I learned that that wasn't even a real sheriff. I had no idea. I had no idea whatsoever. So all of you people who do the Renaissance Fair, think about what you've done to your children, that you've allowed going out there to that. Okay? Keep that in mind. That's what you have done. So if you're proud of that, okay. But if you want your children to be well-adjusted members of society, you should probably think about that. So anyway, I took the shackles and I ran. And just because I was dating a guy named Ayaz at the time, that joke, I guess, is just built in because of the name of the country. Anyway. But I ran. I had my fairy wings on, I had my irony of my gown, and I'm running, and I refused. And then when all the charges were dropped, every one of them, it was, okay, sure, I guess I can come back, I suppose, if it's worth my time to. And and I wasn't playing around either. I wasn't joking. I did not know anything about the Renaissance Fair stuff. So you got to keep that in mind. I was just being myself. So they're doing whatever, and the fair was about to close down and all this stuff. And so let me do this. So I have, the essentially irony of the shackles, and I'm just There you go. You can take that, and I don't ever want to see that again. As a matter of fact, I don't need to see any of you again. Any of you who falsely accuse me of anything, I don't need to see you. There's nothing of importance to me. You can remain as you are. Thank you. Because you really should verify and clarify who you're speaking about and making sure you have the actual details, because otherwise that's called slander, libel, false testimony, false witness, and if you had any situations, tampering with evidence, intimidation of witnesses, and I went down the list, but it is what it is. I'm not interested in your type. Thank you. Yeah, you could just steer clear, because, So there was the rest of the Renaissance Fair as far as that was concerned. But yeah, there's a certain sensation to have that capability to say that in person, face to face. Really is. There's a certain closure that comes. There is a closure that comes one way or another. But there is a closure. And so it's one of those, no, that's fine. That's fine. You said what about me? Okay. Just remember what you said about me and why that is your existence for the rest of eternity. Thank you. So, needless to say, when getting back to San Antonio after that Renaissance Fair, well, Dawn, her friends, Christy and John, they were like, we want to hang out with Susan, but not you. And Dawn was pissed. So it was as it was. And then there was the poker thing, as far as where I got the royal flush and how I got the royal flush. And then, Tony making some, military guys, this guy said this. And I was ready. So anyway, I just kind of brought that up because I can laugh about certain things. Because yes, there are certain situations which are funny, such as the fact that, the real police showed up to the Renaissance Fair campsite at night. And by that time, I didn't know what the drink Loki. I thought it was Gatorade. Which that is what it is as far as it being so close to Austin. Look, from 2000 and that situation CID, so 2000 and the rave as far as Brackenridge. Okay, I was told I was getting a bottle of water and, some headache medication as far as the rave. Remember, it was the Advil for the first two and then the Flintstone chewable vitamin, supposedly. So that was 2000. Then, in the year of 2005, I'm dancing around a fire at a drum circle, and I was given a Gatorade bottle, and it was a drink called Loki instead. I didn't ask for that. I don't need, I don't desire alcohol or any drugs at all. I don't care. I do not consent to that. Ever. Whatsoever. I don't care who you are. I do not consent. If I choose to, what I've learned is MMJ helps me. And that's it. I know what actually works for me as far as the THC compared to the CBD. Do not mess with my stuff whatsoever. I did not consent as far as Brackenridge rave situation. I did not consent in reference to the Renaissance Fair. I do not consent from this whole entire time, including to now and into the future. There is no consent to that. There will not ever be a consent from me as far as that. If I choose to do so, knowingly being informed, that is the only time. Doing it that way is not a choice. That's non-consensual from the get-go. Period and end of story. So if those problems stem out of the Renaissance Fair types of people into the San Antonio pagan community as well as others, into the BDSM swinger, supposed to be adults lifestyle community, well, there you go. It's not far from Austin. It's also not far from San Antonio. And I don't know how far it is from Houston, but that's what you got. So, for clarifications, I do not consent to what the term is of roofying, because that's illegal, by the way. So, that's how it is. I didn't consent. You didn't ever give me the chance to. You didn't ever give me the option. I was injured because of that. And then they go and change the name. That's unacceptable. They should still be held accountable. Fully. Each and every individual involved. Thankfully, there's technology. Now, especially as heavy as it's gotten, you got your text messages, you got your emails, you got your social media, etc. Good. Good. Because as I told those law enforcement, the real ones, get them. Get each and every one of them. Those types need to be removed from society, in my opinion. Maybe they can be rehabilitated if they can prove themselves to be worth the time. Personal opinion, I've kind of dealt with far too many things in those types of ways, those types of people. I don't know if they can even be called people. I guess all of them, male or female, just a bunch of wenches. You know, if they stem out of the Renaissance Fair thing. So they can, if they want to be wenches, they can remain wenches. And that's all they'll ever be, because they just won't amount to anything more. Maybe you're just not meant to. It's your choice. It's always a choice. You know, when you're informed. If you're not informed, though, then there's no choice. And you make you take which options you have, and you do the best you can. But then there's still that situation. Each one of them that I had met in person knew about how I walked up off of a military installation, knew about the after effects of my head injury, knew about all these different factors at those times of still having had the subarachnoid hemorrhage in the frontal lobe of my brain, which is no different than scuba divers, by the way. Every scuba diver that I had spoken with in person, face-to-face in person, because that's how it was especially done back in 2009, each and every one of them, that was explained in person, face-to-face, in person. Whether they were at the location of wherever my classes were, whether they were at the water areas, as far as each and every location for each one of my 26 scuba diving certifications. Each and every one of them. So, I don't know. Why do I have a problem with certain things? Because that stuff has still gone on, and it has been needing to be stopped for how many years? Oh wait, from this point, it's over 2 decades. When do you actually get it done correctly? Not to be rude or anything, but you know, those such as myself who didn't consent, still don't. Get the hint, get the memo. You're not going to change my mind. So I said no, and no means no. That's it. I didn't know how those Renaissance people type are, and that's why I haven't ever been back. Because I didn't ever have a positive at all. There was nothing positive about my entire experience, with the exception of a pair of wings that I could order online. Yeah, I got to meet the female who made all of those wings and some of her staff or whatever. Cool. Other than that, the rest of the entire Renaissance Fair weekend was the biggest waste of my time. There was not one enjoyable moment. Yeah, sure, I got to enjoy the drum circle, I'll admit that. So, okay, my mistake. So there was 30 minutes to maybe 2 hours where I was just enjoying myself dancing. And then there was my wings. And that was it. Oh, telling the police, go get him. Awesome. You know, while I was trying to breathe. You know, after the belly dancing and the Powerade situation. Gatorade, whatever. Yeah. So, you know, those who, you know, were birthed by a mom, you know, you should probably think about that. If you yourself are a female, what karma are you asking for yourself? And then if you've had a daughter or a sister or a granddaughter or whatever, well, what is your view of them? No different in reference to a son, you know, if you actually care. But maybe I'm just a different type of mom who actually does care and has. It's just, you know, all those other types. So, you know, just gonna point that out there. That's where that stemmed from, and there's the irony in regards to it being near Austin. What are those problems as far as the politics are concerned regarding Austin, Texas? And then if that's the case, then why are so many situations where in the rest of the state of Texas? Maybe you should take that stuff into consideration. You know, for those who could be similar to me, who actually prefer making sure my son and my daughter, or in reference to whatever, are actually correctly taken care of in comparison to what other people think. Because I didn't ask about your opinion regarding what you think is correct. I know what's correct. I didn't squeeze your head. Thank you. It's just a metaphor, of course. But since I had a head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000, I suppose I can make the joke that I can say that. So, you know, okay, fine. My head was squeezed. Because, you know, I deal with headaches and migraines, and those who know what headaches and migraines are like would understand that. So, okay, yours wasn't, though. So, you know, I don't need your opinion. What I do need you to do is what you're told. Thank you. Anyway, you guys have a good day. Make sure to go to my website, www.susanmeeling.com, and you can read all sorts of stuff that I've been writing, authored books and what have you, all those compilations and etc. And, you know, there are books that I've authored that, you know, could be purchased, so that way I get the royalties for me to use, for myself to use by my choice and my choice only. That'd be cool. Anyway, and then, you know, you can see what artwork I've worked on, you know, actual stuff. Anyway, so that's that, and it's an irony regarding Dawn, because she had, you know, you look at the COVID situation and people just being honest in comparison. She had acknowledged that she had certain STDs. She didn't tell people. It spread around. You know, that's why the CDC exists. You know, because of stopping that sort of stuff. needless garbage that has gone on. And so it is what it is. I've made sure to take care of myself as best as I could and work towards doing better for myself so that way my son and my daughter could as well. Meaning, my son who I carried in my womb and delivered. My daughter who I carried in my womb and delivered. Those. Sure, because of what I took care of, there's the adoptive aspects. But it doesn't change the facts in those references that my son and my daughter are still my son and my daughter, and I'm still me. So it is what it is. Guess you can revert to whatever possibilities you should be evaluating. But when you think about these people who do the Renaissance Fair stuff, why don't you think about other countries and how they could view you? Because they would see the current date stamp and the technology and wonder what is going on. Because who would, and this is something I wondered, why would you want to do that? Why would you willingly go back to that? The advancements in society compared to that? Ew. Which then I was made fun of because how dare I actually be disgusted by that. So let me understand this. You could actually have, okay, fine, I've gotten into scuba diving, but that's obviously extremely different. So you willingly do that? Huh. And you look down on me, thinking, I guess that's the problem, you're thinking. Okay, so anyway, so since, I know better, like how many centuries ago was the Renaissance time frame? You should probably grow up. Because this excuse that I was told that they claimed was good enough was their lives were so difficult that they needed the Renaissance Fair. I don't understand that. With what I was dealing with back in 2005, I was considered cold-hearted because I couldn't see how they would need that. I still had that subarachnoid hemorrhage in the frontal lobe of my brain, and it was during the first separation from my children's biological father and that whole thing, and my son and my daughter at that point in 2005 were 2 and 3 or 3 and 4 years old, compared to waking up from my coma, from my head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000 at that point in 2005. Yeah, I don't know why I had absolutely no sympathy for any of those claims that they wished that I would pay attention to as far as, their lives were so difficult. I don't know. Maybe there's somebody who could understand why I just wouldn't see that at all. I mean, and then there was the aspects of, 2001, this particular day in September that was after my son's birthday. And, I didn't ever get that, grieving time because I was busy taking care of my son and my daughter, being a mom. I was finally able to have some time to grieve-ish, except, how long it took to transfer out here. And then all of the stuff that occurred. Talk about greedy as far as certain types of people. You want to claim that you want what? First time I get to go grieve. And, it's just ironic that the Olympus company is based in Fort Worth, Texas. What worth are you? I mean, the irony of Fort Worth Zoo. But what worth are you, huh? What's your actual worth? I don't mean your bank account. Since I was told I was cold-hearted, what's your worth? Because from what I see, out of Fort Worth. I don't know. I don't know what worth I really, I mean, it is what it is. Just pointing that out there. But yeah, for the first time, go grieve during the time frame while taking care of all the other stuff that I've been taking care of. Yeah, no. For the first time, after 2020, having the first time to be capable to go to New Jersey and New York. Is it that the time who once hypothetically gave me grief about the after effects of my head injury, do you not understand what cognitive abilities are? That has to do with knowing dates and times. But then, all those times that I had been cut off in the middle of a discussion in comparison to actually having the capability to go through the whole thing, you probably would have actually been able to get that information if you didn't interrupt me during those times. Because my life is a little detailed. So think about that, especially if you're in the Austin area or Texas in general. For the first time since I had fought to be a part of the military, officially you got to take in consideration of 1996. But the first time of being back in New Jersey from the year of 1998 was the year of 2020. And what did I deal with to get out here? Texas? Yeah. I have a feeling you have a number you can think about for you. Texas. For your type. Anyway, you have a good day. And Merry Christmas. Happy New Year early. Maybe you can make some New Year's resolutions to, have more humanity. Be better people. Genuine and actually follow those 10 commandments. But instead of just the New Year's resolutions, you have some time. Why don't you think about how you'll implement them instead of just the New Year's resolution? Why don't you actually do a 12-month plan for yourself? Okay? That way, maybe, just maybe, more of you can actually keep your New Year's resolutions. You have a great day.